What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video from the 10-7 MMA. Well, not a video. Welcome back to our show. What am I saying? And we are joining you guys after one of the craziest weekends in the history of the UFC. A lot of people who are talking all this negative stuff about the UFC being in a downturn and a slump and a depression and all this BS. It feels like everything, all the wrongs have been righted. We are back on track with one of the most epic weekends ever, in my opinion. And for those of you guys who don't know, I was in Vegas over the weekend. Maybe you saw a couple of my videos. Maybe you didn't because they barely got any views. But I was in Vegas, and at the last minute, I decided to go to UFC 317 with my girlfriend. It was literally like we decided a couple hours before the show, found some tickets, great tickets on StubHub. We had floor seats. We were kind of in the back in row V. And it was still a really, really, really cool experience. And let me just read off some of these comments real quick. And I want to start the show off, Justin, by showing a video that I filmed right after Ilia Topuria got one of the most incredible knockouts in the history of the UFC. But King Turzy says, per Dricus du Plessis, Gaethje versus Patty. No, it's not. Shut up. It's not Gaethje versus Patty.
I saw that today too.
It's real?
I didn't know if it's. I didn't look. I was just scrolling, so I didn't do any research on it. But I saw.
Hold on. Wait a minute. This can't be real. I'll be so mad.
I think that's the right call. And the winner gets the title shot.
No. Please don't. No, it's bro. Oh no. I think this is real. It's everywhere.
Why do you not want to read it?
That's why Dana White was pissed off. That's why Dana White was pissed off. Because he already had this fight. No, but it can't be. Then why would Patty go on? No. I'm so mad right now. Hold on. We have to look at this immediately. This is insane. Okay, guys, look at all the news outlets. You guys probably are ahead of this, ahead of me on this. I did not see this. Oh, God. Tehran, chime in here. Is this real? Okay, Tehran, you usually know this stuff. Is this real or is this fake? Dricus du Plessis, I can't. No, I don't want this fight. I think it's still.
Look up the top. Patty eyes the fight. He doesn't. It's not for sure. Eyes the fight.
Hold on, and then let me see this. But it's saying Dricus leaked it. Let me see what they're talking about here. I mean, if it is true, it's an amazing co-main event. I'm not gonna lie, because I'm going to this event too. But including Patty Pimblett and Justin Gaethje, the buzz. Dana White report. Hold on. Justin Gaethje currently ranked number 3 in the lightweight division. Blah blah blah. Meanwhile, Patty Pimblett. Hold on. I don't trust this site. 1 second. Dricus du Plessis, Ilia. No, I don't know.
He said it in a video.
What's that?
Big Ank says he said it in a video.
I mean, who is this guy? Nasher MMA. I have no idea who this guy is. I don't know if this is a legitimate source yet. Well, let's see what happens. I have no idea. We're gonna get to why this is gonna bother me if this is true, because this is not, to me, the ultimate. Maybe they already had it done, but like, this is not the fight to make, in my opinion. Ariel Helwani backs me up on this. I was listening to a show earlier this morning. We're going to talk about everything in a moment, but the fight to make, guys, and Justin, you can chime in if you disagree, and you're more than welcome to. The fight to make after this is Ilia Topuria versus, drumroll please, Ilia versus Patty Pimblett. That's what we need. We had that epic face-off. It's not going to be a meritocracy necessarily, but, and I know people are thinking Arman Tsarukyan's going to come in and fight Ilia, but you got to make that fight, in my opinion, because it's the first time we have an opportunity to have a super fight since Conor versus Khabib. It's not
a super fight, dude. It's a barely a 10 guy against a guy that's just knocked out 3 legends. It's undeserving. Everybody in the division, he can't just skip everybody in the division because he walked into the cage. I disagree with you 100%. I think he needs one, and with all due respect, of course.
No. Give it to me.
He hasn't earned his spot. He hasn't earned it. He's a great fighter. It would be a great fight, but they have to give Justin Gaethje his due, and his due is to have one more chance at a championship. And think of everything the guy's done. Patty hasn't done anything for the UFC. He's an up and coming star. He has star power. Don't get me wrong. But he's not Ilia Topuria. He's not Justin Gaethje. Name a war he's been in like Justin Gaethje. Name times that he's put his life on the line like Justin Gaethje has. I mean, the UFC, regardless if it's a business or not, they have to sometimes help these guys out. And I'm not saying they're going to shoot Justin right in for the title shot, but I definitely think that Justin should be in a contender fight for the next. And against Paddy. Now, Paddy goes in there and beats Justin Gaethje, number 3. Now it's credible. Now the fight matters. Now the fight makes sense because he's beat a former interim champ, a guy that's ranked top 3 in the division. Now this fight sells because right now, okay, if Ilia, it's kind of like Islam fighting Ilia for the first fight when he came up. There's no credibility to the fight. Ilia just knocked out 3 legends in a row, and then he goes and knocks out Paddy Pimblett. Who gives a fuck about Paddy Pimblett? And people are going to put an asterisk next to the name and say the guy was undeserving the whole time. Give Paddy Justin Gaethje. Give him some credibility if he beats Justin Gaethje, because if he beats Justin Gaethje, again, former interim champ, ranked number 3 in the rankings right now, he beats Justin Gaethje. Now people are like, okay, he deserves it. But right now he doesn't deserve it. Who did he just beat?
Michael Chandler.
And Michael Chandler's 2-5 or 2-6. No, there's no credibility there. And I feel bad for Ilia if his first title defense is against a guy that Ilia, I think, kills him. But what if he doesn't? What if he loses to Ilia? Then he loses all that credibility for knocking out Charles Oliveira, knocking out Volkanovski, because people are already talking that, well, he knocked out Volkov after he'd already been knocked out by Islam. He knocked out Max Holloway, at 45 because he had a hard weight cut. He knocked out a washed-up Charles Oliveira. He's already getting discredited for these incredible wins he has. He goes and beats Paddy Pimblett. People are just going to shit on him. And I tell you what, I wasn't an Ilia fan 2 months ago. I wasn't an Ilia fan 3 months ago. I wasn't an Ilia fan 1 month ago. I wasn't an Ilia fan a week ago. I like this guy.
Of course. How can you not like him?
I mean, he's the real deal, man. He's calling his shots, and I know I get a lot of hate sometimes because everyone's, like we had that one comment, like, oh, you're always talking shit. It's not talking shit. It's just I need to be able to rate. I don't care if a guy's a good fighter or not. Like, you guys understand, I surround my whole life. As soon as I wake up in the morning till I go to sleep, it's MMA. It's so fucking exhausting. So I don't want to relate to a fighter through MMA, something that I fucking surround, like Chad Mendes, for instance. I'm a huge Chad Mendes fan. Why? Because he's a hunter and he's a fisherman, and I get to watch his hunting videos and his fishing videos. I just never had any rapport with Ilia. There's nothing I could relate to him on. But now he's knocking out all these legends killers. He's calling his shots. How can you not respect it? I'm an Ilia Topuria fan.
It's so wild, and we're gonna get into that fight, and we're gonna talk about the entire thing in a second. We just got so many comments, so I want to highlight some of these. Matthew makes a good point. I was thinking about this exactly. You actually just changed my mind just now because I was ready to.
Hold on, somebody just asked me a question.
Go for it.
About this. Paddy and Ilia won't make any money. Come on, I didn't say that. Now this is Matthew. I just need some intelligence out of you. All right, I never said anything about money. Nothing about finances. Nothing. He could make. Dude, the UFC is gonna make money. But it's an uncredible win. How do you want to be Topuria and be like, oh, I just knocked out Paddy Pimblett, who hasn't he beat a washed up Michael Chandler who's 2-6. I never said anything about finances. I said nothing financial. I said he will not get the credibility he deserves until I just ate a bagel. Until he beats a Justin Gaethje, until he beats a Max Holloway, until he beats one of those big names, dude, he's not deserving, man. And of course it'll make money, but there's always going to be the asterisk next to his name.
So Izzy Slots. Oh yeah, go ahead.
He said he was responding earlier.
Oh yeah, to somebody else. I want to highlight.
Sorry. I thought you were talking to me. I was like,
oh no, it's all good. Izzy Slots, who we all had lunch with, early dinner with yesterday. Izzy Slots said Paddy needs like 4 more wins. No, I disagree with that. 1 more win. But let me go.
He's Justin Gaethje. It's due.
So let me say this. Actually, Justin literally just changed my mind right now. I like to credit myself by being open-minded, but I was about to go on a rant as to why I want to see Ilia versus Paddy 100% next, because that coming in the cage was so amazing. The push, it got so much buzz. Paddy's such a star. He's undefeated in the UFC. Ilia's undefeated in the UFC, and I don't want to lose it. That's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid Paddy's going to lose his next fight, or Ilia's going to lose against Arman. What a difficult fight that's going to be. I still think Ilia wins, but if he loses, it's like right there, and it's just a golden egg waiting for the UFC to grab. So that's my own paranoia. Now, but you actually just convinced me just now, because I could see people getting upset. And somebody mentioned the Sean O'Malley versus Cheetah Vera fight.
He's getting discredited. He's knocking out the 3 legends. He's getting discredited for that. That's insane. That's incredible. Even if they're not as good as they once were, they're still fucking really good. Yeah. And Charles Oliveira is still winning fights. All these guys are still winning fights. Alexander's the champ. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. If anybody wants to say anything bad about Volkanovski, it's like, yo, he just went in there, had a war with Diego Lopez and schooled him top to bottom. So 100%. No, Topuria, you're right. The more that I think about it, so I'll put it like this. If it works out beautifully, if the MMA gods grace us with the best outcome possible, we're going to have Justin Gaethje versus Patty. Okay. And by the way, I'm going to 319. So that's actually the co-main event. Holy smokes. But if Patty can beat Gaethje, if Ilia can beat Arman, okay, now we have a super mega ultimate fight that will rival or potentially even beat, yes, I'm going to say it, even beat Khabib versus Conor, because we're in a new era. The fan base has grown so much since that time, and this would be it. This would be absolutely incredible, and Patty would then prove himself. So you have convinced me, and let's see what happens. Let's now get into the fight, though, because we have to talk about Ilia Topuria. Ilia is king. That's the title here. We're going to talk about the Ilia versus Oliveira fight. And I want to break it down exactly why this was so tremendous, not just because of the knockout, but because of everything we saw. And there's a lot to break down here. But before we talk about this, I want to show this footage that I shot. I don't even remember what I said, so we're going to see if I look like an idiot here. But I want to show the footage. Oh, it's not letting me share. Hold on one second. How do I share this video? I want to show the video. Oh, I see. You know what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to share the entire screen, and let's see how this works, because it won't let me do a Chrome tab. Okay. Oh, no. It won't let me do it. Dang it. Okay. Anyways, I have a video queued up, but I'm not able to play it because it has to be in a Chrome tab. So let's not, we'll go there later. We'll see if I can get it queued up by the end of the show. But anyways, let's talk about this fight, because if it was, and so many people have said this, and I felt the same way, if it was just a straight up knockout right out the gate, we would be wowed. We would be amazed, but we wouldn't see the real deal that Ilia Topuria is. But we saw this fight go to the ground. We saw Charles shoot for a takedown, and Ilia actually got dropped to his back. Now, what MMA Guru said, and I want to hear your expert opinion on this, is that the way that Ilia fell was very expert, meaning he landed in a position, even though he was on his back, that he was still able to maneuver. I think he got into a crucifix position. I can't remember 100%, but he did some really good work on the ground and then was able to eventually get back onto his feet. Charles Oliveira was staying on the ground for a bit and eventually got waved up, and that's what led to the knockout. But before we talk about the striking of Ilia, Justin, let me turn it over to you. People are making the comparison, I'm so sick of it, to Conor McGregor over and over. But this is different and this is better, because what we're seeing potentially is somebody who is truly well-rounded, who doesn't have an Achilles heel, but maybe the most well-rounded and incredible fighter in the history of the UFC, him and Islam, right? Maybe neck and neck. What did you think of the little bit of Ilia's ground game that we saw against Charles Oliveira, the greatest submission artist in the history of the UFC?
You know, honestly, man, I put money on Charles. I got him at plus 380. I didn't think he was going to win, but at plus 380, I mean, I got incredible value in my line, so I put some money on him, and I thought Charles looked really good, man. And I see why people are comparing it, because, yeah, there were some grappling exchanges. But, you know, I don't know. There was at one point, it probably was just because I had money on Oliveira. I was like, man, Oliveira looks like the leg kicks were incredible. I thought it was an incredible game plan. Take away somebody's power by taking out their legs, you know, by kicking their legs out.
Sure.
So I thought Oliveira had a great game plan. He was walking him down. In my opinion, I'm not saying I thought Charles was winning the fight, but I thought he was doing really, really well. You know, it wasn't like Ilia just went in there and dog walked him and then, you know, beat him up and then rocked him a bunch, then finished him. You know, I thought Charles Oliveira had some winning moments. and up into that knockout, I could see even one of the judges, depending on who's on the panel, saying that Charles even was winning the round until he got knocked out. So, I mean, Ilia looked great. I mean, he had incredible submission defense. If I got to watch the fight live, but I'm trying to replay it in my head. You know, how I was feeling for it. Because when you're watching the fight compared to when you think back to it are obviously different.
Sure.
But the way I remember feeling about it was that Ilia didn't want anything to do with the ground. Because here's the thing. When you want somebody up on their feet, most of the time you're not just going to kick them in the legs or play with their feet. You're going to wave them up. Well, he didn't wave them up. Well, the referee's instructed after 10 or 15 seconds, if your opponent doesn't engage on the ground or waves them up, the referee's going to step in and stand him up. And, you know, something about that was really weird. Maybe I'm just overthinking again. When I put money on fights, I'd sometimes make excuses, but it's like, I almost felt that Ilia didn't want to engage, and he was almost taking that 10 or 15 seconds as a rest to figure out what he should do next when Charles Oliveira gets back to his feet. So I don't know. I had a weird feeling about it. And again, it could have been just my mind making things up, because it's like, hey, I got money on this. Like, find everything, you know, always look at in the positive for Oliveira and everything that's happening. Again, maybe I'm overthinking it, but I mean, it's not as dramatic as the Conor, or I think it's better than the Conor because there was more there. They actually fought, you know, there was, so yes, I do think it's better, but it still was a quick finish. It still was a quick finish. Now, if Ilia goes in there and dog walks him for 2 rounds, then knocks him on the third, wow, that would have been. I mean, dude, I'm not taking anything away from him. I'm an Ilia fan. I think he looked great. I'm just playing devil's advocate here of the other side of the coin here, why people would say that. But I actually had this conversation with Aaron last night because I said to Aaron, I'm like, dude, he's knocked out 3 legends, and Conor McGregor, was calling his shots, knocking everybody. He was like, he got lucky against Jose Aldo. He got lucky. It's like, man. The thing about luck and the thing about MMA is if you watch Conor McGregor's warm-up video leading up to that fight, he's throwing that exact punch in his, with the chance and with the, MMA is all about chances. When you throw your jab, some people have an 80% chance to land. Some people have a 50% chance to land. Well, when Conor throws that left hand, he probably has like 70% the way he did it. And he just happened to land, maybe not 70%, but even if it's 30%, and he just happened to land that right shot at the right time, but he had practiced that moment over and over and over. And, Ilia has too. And Ilia has practiced that 2-3. I mean, that's one of the first combos. You know how to throw a 2-3. I know how to throw a 2-3. It wasn't like he did something dramatic. He took a basic technique and practiced it over and over and over and over for years. Just like when I had my knockout in UFC, I hit him with a leaping left hook. Do you know how many motherfucking times I've thrown a leaping left hook? Like John Mott or Muttball has probably held mitts for me to where I'm practicing my leaping left hook. So it's just all that practice and all that preparation in the years, and it just happened to work out for both of them quick.
Now, I want to get into the striking exchange. By the way, was it a 2-3 or a 4-3? Because I hear people say, I heard Mighty Mouse say it was a 2-3 as well, but then I hear other people say it was a right hook and a left hook. It was a 4-3. What was it?
Well,
I thought it was a 4-3.
So, I mean, we're in semantics now. It looked like it was going to be a 2-3, but the problem is he was so ranged. All right. So when you're at range with somebody, all right, I can watch this. You're at range with somebody. Say my dog's right here. Come here, dog. Come here. Mm-hmm. If she's away, stand right there. She's here. I have to throw a long punch to hit her. But if we're this close, I'm throwing the same punch, but I got to turn it over. Shorter shot because he's closer.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Oliveira being so you're right. You're right. It is an overhand, but I think it was intended to be a straight shot. But when you get into the range, yeah, exactly, 4 then 3-ish. Like when you get into range, like you have to make that mental adjustment to throw a little bit shorter shot. So regardless if you call it an overhand or a 2, it's all semantics.
Okay, we're going to get into the striking exchange, and I want to talk about the jab and how he found Oliveira with the jab and then basically was able to measure that and close the distance and do what he did. But before we do that, we got so many comments. I'm so sorry, guys. So I want to read through a bunch of these because there's like a million. I don't want you to think we're ignoring you guys. It's just so much has been coming in, and there's just so much to talk about. So we have MGal4 Production said Topuria would put Islam to sleep. We'll talk about that in a little bit. That's a crazy fight that needs to happen eventually, but I'm very curious to see what could go down there. Izzy Slots said, Sean lost to fluke injury is why. I think you're talking about Sean O'Malley, but we'll come back to that. Ilia, Muttball says, Ilia was the most popular JRE MMA in a long time, which implies the normies like him, which equals like, yeah, I mean, it's true. The casuals are what pay the bills. I can't remember. Somebody said that about MMA gyms as well. The casual fighters actually probably like myself who come in and just love to train. MGal4 Productions says, Huzaifa, bro, how was your first live event? Okay, now that you asked that, while we have been talking, I've been trying to figure out a way to get this video to play, and I think I've got it. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to play it for you guys right now. This will answer your question. Here we go. Oh, come on. It's still processing. Okay, never mind. It's going to have to wait. We'll get back to that. But keep that question alive, MGal4 Productions, and I will show you guys. I think it'll capture my true reaction in the moment. Ilia versus Justin is the fight to make, Muttball says. Not Arman Sarukian.
I'm okay with that.
Okay, and then we have Patty is giant. MGal4 Productions says, yeah, he is tall, especially compared to Ilia. And they have previous beef. That's what I was saying before, but you literally convinced me in real time that it would be kind of too infuriating and too disrespectful, and I get that, and it would actually take away from the validity of that fight. Johnny Monday is back in the mix. A moral victory for Charles fans. is seeing him coming forward, landing shots, being Dubronx until the KO. It does happen to the best. You know what I loved about Ilia and what I think got him a lot more fans after this fight is the way that he treated Charles before and after the fight.
I think that's what drew me in. It's just like, dude, I want to hate this guy and I can't. He's just too nice.
Because
and
if he would,
Ilia's like, yeah. I'm sorry, I keep cutting you up, but it just drew me in, and I think that was my changing point where it's like, I really like this guy.
Yeah, dude, Ilia is awesome, and people keep being like, oh, but his trash talk's not as good as Conor. It's like, stop. We don't need to keep comparing to somebody from the past. It's over with. Ilia's his own person, and in fact, I think he's a way more complete fighter, and this could be a potentially way more interesting rise because he's already double champion, at least defended the featherweight title once, and he's going to continue to stay in the sport, and he's not going to go box and do something stupid like that. So let's forget that, but his trash talk is different. And then forget even Conor. His trash talk is great. The way that he talks smack to Arman and Ilia and Patty after the fight, nobody's even talking about that. Yo, it was dope. I loved it. He's like, yeah, this stupid guy with his back injury is so weak, and this, like, I loved it. He called him in. Yo, he is the man. I already was a fan of Ilia Topuria, but this to me just elevated it to such another level. And yeah, congrats to Dubronx. Look, he did his thing, and it does happen to the best of us. What are you going to do? Way better run than McGregor. Matthew says, let's go. We got a couple other things. Unpopular opinion. F Conor, he was good, had a legendary run, but okay, look, makes Ireland look bad. I agree with you. Look, I'm not saying going to go that far, but let's leave that alone. People keep being, remember I said this before, Khamzat Chimaev will be a new wave of superstar, regardless of what Conor did or didn't do. And we got to stop looking at fighters as like, who's going to be the new carbon copy of Conor? No, we just need a new superstar, and they're going to be themselves in their own skin with their own personalities, with their own fighting abilities. And that's what we have to look forward to. So let's stop with all that. It's so annoying to me. Okay. We've got some other comments. Big Ankh is talking about, yep, I'm not sure what that's in response to. I shouldn't have highlighted that one. Hold on. We got a couple more. Let me see. MGAL4 Productions says, James, since you fought a lightweight, what would be your threat? Oh, go ahead.
No, I answered in the comments.
Oh,
I just
already answered.
I'd be a wrestle heavy. I'd try to keep his back on the fence, try to put some lactic acid in his arms, take away his power, and keep my back off the fence, because when he's in range, that's the problem. I'd have a really hard time with someone like them, because like him, I want to fight in the pocket as well, but my punches are a lot more loopy than his. He's really tight with his shots, and mine are more big loopy shots, because typically I'm the shorter guy, so I have to jump into range with big looping shots to where I think when I loop into those shots, he'd pick me off from the inside.
Bruce Boosie the Beaver might be a new follower, might be new to the show. Welcome. Don't be shocked if Dana goes live this week announcing UFC 319 Gaethje versus Paddy Brady. No, you think that's what it's going to be? They're also going to get
Brady or Gary doesn't need that. Dude, he's fighting all the best guys, man. Ian Gary is so awesome, man. If you guys hate Ian Gary because he's a cuck, I don't care what he lets his wife do on the side. This guy is fighting the best guys in the division. I don't care about his personal life. This guy is fighting guys on short notice. He's fighting undefeated fighters. He's fighting the next prospect, and he's competing. And now if he fights Sean Brady, man, wow, what a man. And if he goes out there and wins, I mean, the problem is with these tough fights, and man, I did it again, Jose. I'm so sorry for cutting you off.
Oh, go. No, you didn't. You didn't. Good.
It's like he fights these 3 tough fights in a row. He's putting so many, and by the way, your video is blurry.
Oh, not on my side. I don't know. Oh, let me know, guys. I think it might just be on your side.
Okay, no worries. It's blurry on my side. But anyways, like, he's putting so many miles on his body by taking these dangerous fights, man. Like, he needs to be smart, dude. And trust me, I appreciate it, because he's like that old school guy, but he's not an old school guy. Like, there used to be this generation, and Muttball and Roman will vouch for me on this. There's a reason I had 50 amateur fights. There's a reason Daquan Townsend had 40 amateur fights. There's a reason in the Midwest region, we had so many fights, because there would be a sign up, and John was there for this, Muttball, that the sign was, do you want to fight? And it's like, hey, Huzaifa, you think you're pretty tough? Hey, man, I'm pretty tough. Oh, you guys look like you're about the same size. And we fight to see who the real guy is. Now that Conor McGregor has come in and changed that whole narrative, and Chael Sonnen has changed the whole narrative, that guys can just pick easy opponents, get a good record, and save the miles for later in the fight. And Ian Gary just represents that old school dog that just wants to show up, fight the best fighters in the world. And I respect it so much, because I felt that I was like that last generation. Like there's a lot of guys that I was coming up on the scene with, that Darren Cruikshank, myself, Bobby Nash, like Daquan Townsend. Like I fought at 185 as an amateur because I wanted to see who the best was. And Ian Gary is doing exactly that, but at the best in the world. He's not ducking anybody. And man, I have so much respect for it. But with that being said, he needs to watch the miles on his body.
Okay, I agree with you on all of everything that you said, and all I would say is I'm only just being selfish here because if I go to 319 and we got Khamzat Chimaev, Gaethje versus Patty, Ian Gary's in the mix. I love Rakic versus Reyes. If this is true, Boosie the Beaver, I'm just like, I can't believe that I bought pre-sale to this fight because I just hit the lottery, hit the jackpot. This is insane. We got another new guy here, Mr. Chuck E. Cheese. Dana would probably love feeding Connor to the point. I can't talk about Connor anymore. The UFC is on fire right now. We don't need it anymore. Let's move past it. 392 will be stacked. They don't have another pay-per-view 7 weeks after. So Dana cooking. Let's go. Now, coming back to what you guys asked about before. What was it like going to UFC 317 live? I got the video queued up. Are you guys ready? Here we go. Check it out. Boom.
All right. What's up, everybody? We literally just finished watching the fight on the floor. We had crazy seats, and that was insane. What Ilia Topuria did is exactly what he said he was going to do, but it still blew me away and blew everybody away. My jaw was on the floor. That was crazy. I feel like I got to witness in person UFC history. I almost didn't come, and I'm so glad I did. That was crazy, and I love the call out. We need Patty versus Ilia. Let's go. Crazy. History. Ilia's the man.
All right. So there it is. I said in the moment, I was so excited for Patty versus Ilia. But like I said, literally Justin did convince me on the show if you guys watch that. So let's effing go. Andrew Dan says, okay, now let's talk about Ilia's striking. Okay. Because, and particularly the way in which it happened. And I want to hear your expert take on this. What a lot of folks have been saying is, and this, I know this from, training, obviously 6 years and whatnot, but like you're measuring when you're sparring, you're measuring with your jab, you're trying to get a read on distance. And what happened in the fight is Ilia connected several times with his jab, yet Charles didn't back away. Maybe he didn't get guidance to back away, or I don't know what happened, but he kept coming forward. And what folks are saying is that is an indication that Ilia, an amazing pocket fighter, an amazing striker, and arguably the best boxer in the history of the UFC, has now got you in range and has measured you perfectly. Yet Charles continued to march forward, and that was the mistake that led to him getting knocked out. Justin, what's your take?
Of course it's a mistake because he lost. If he would have done that and won, it wouldn't be a mistake. And I hate when people say that. Charles Oliveira, I think, wanted to impose his size. I think that he wanted to walk him down and say, hey, look, this is a new division. And I think he was caught off guard by his power. Charles Oliveira had his hands up, blocking a lot of shots, getting stuck with a jab a bunch, but he was getting Ilia to move backwards, and when you look at their size difference, I thought Charles looked like a significant size advantage. And there are times that the game plan is, Roman's my coach, like Dennis, Izzy Slots is my coach. Dennis will tell you, like, hey, let's bully this guy around. Let's show him that we're not afraid of his power, and let's show him that you're in a new weight class. And I feel that Charles Oliveira did that, man. His hands were up. His defense was looking slick. His leg kicks were awesome. I really thought those leg kicks were going to pay dividends in the later rounds had they got there. Because you take someone's legs out, you take their power. I think Ilia was just I think Oliveira was trying to big brother him and didn't realize that, hey, Ilia has superpower.
I love that take because literally not a single person has talked about anything that Charles did right. I even missed it because I've just been so overwhelmed with the Ilia hype and the buzz and everything that happened and how historic the knockout was. But I think that's really great. Big Ankh says, Charles been chinny for years. Do you agree with this?
He's been in some wars, man. I wouldn't say he's been chinny because that's the first time I think I can recall him being put out. Yeah. He's been dropped a bunch, every time you get dropped, it makes it a little bit easier, but we can't take away. We can't take away from this. All right. I don't want anybody, Big on, don't take away from the win. Yes. People are saying he's chinny. Yes. People are saying he's taking damage, but nobody has put him out like that. He's been hurt, but nobody has put him out like that. And it just goes to show.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to interrupt you. I have to show something that just popped up. It's hilarious. Remember, I told you everybody, a lot of people say on my other YouTube channel that I look like Kyle from Nelk, Hamzat. And by the way, did you know that I'm a massive Hamzat Shirmaev fan? He's my favorite fighter in the history of the UFC.
He's been in our chat before.
Hamzat Shirmaev? Well, really? Okay. Well, this is the first time you've ever said that I look like Kyle from Nelk. But yeah, I get that all the time. That's so funny. And speaking of Kyle from Nelk, who else was down there was that Steve guy. Well, Steve will do it. He was at the fights like in our area because I saw him walking around because it's cool. When you get floor seats, if you guys ever have a chance to go, the cool thing is you get access to like a special bathroom area and a special like separate bar. And we were right next to I think kind of like the back area where the fighters and a lot of VIP guests were. So he walked right by. I was like, I was thinking in my mind, I'm like, I'm wondering if he's gonna be like, yo, you look like Kyle. But no, he didn't say anything to me. Okay, one more comment here from Izzy Slots, and then we got to move on. I'm like reluctant to move on from this fight because it was so crazy, but we have so much more to talk about. We're already a half an hour in. Ilia was using his jab in and out a lot to draw out Oliveira. Oliveira brings his front hand down a lot on his blitz, and Ilia just smoked the overhand when he started to blitz. Was an awesome read. Wow. I mean, like, what's so cool about Ilia, and we're hearing it from Izzy Slots, Justin's coach for a super long time, is that not only does he have the ground game in space, not only is he the best boxer in the history of the UFC, but he's got the fight IQ. I mean, this is what I'm picking up from what Izzy is saying. So it's just like the superhuman combo. And Izzy said in a previous comment, I don't know if I highlighted it, that Ilia Topuria is better and greater than John Jones, which is crazy. And so what we are witnessing, ladies and gentlemen, is one of those amazing ascensions to stardom, to fame, to incredible feats. And we just got to enjoy the ride, because this is what the best part about being a UFC fan is, to watch somebody at this young age climb the ranks and do unbelievable, incredible things.
28?
28, yeah. 27 or 28. Wait, let me double check. Ilia, I think he's 28. I think you're right, but I want to make sure.
Honestly, with all this stardom and all this fame and all this legacy,
28.
When Conor McGregor got there and got all this stardom and fame, he turned, man, and I really hope that Ilia can keep it together and do it the right way. I mean, it's going to be tough. He's going to be tempted, partying, doing drugs, hooking up with chick. Like, I mean, when you get that kind of stardom, you are getting offered to party every week. You're getting offered money to go to parties every week and to stay diligent. Obviously, it's tough, man. It's the temptation's there, and you saw what happened to Conor McGregor once he achieved that status.
He's on it. I'm not worried about Ilia Topuria. I feel like he's so grounded. He's got such an amazing family around him, support system. He's so devoted and dedicated. And I don't think he's got that wild man inside of him. So I think we are here for the long run. I think he's going to stay on it, and he's going to be amazing. We got a couple other comments. Swampy the Rabbit says, why does Joey try to take away from Topuria? He seems very hostile and claims all he did was beat Islam. I did not hear that. I don't know. I'd have to check out MMA Joey's take on this. I didn't know he felt that way. Clown Show exposed the fact Joshua Van is only. We're gonna talk about Joshua Van in a second. Last thing I want to say: agree or disagree? This whole thing about being a simultaneous double champ versus not a simultaneous double champ, and Conor and all these guys, how it's different. I think that is total BS. As far as I'm concerned, Ilia is a completely authentic double champ, because being a simultaneous double champ is purely arbitrary. It's based on what the UFC decides, whether or not they want to force somebody to vacate or not. Ilia just won at 145, moved up, and won here. The only difference between him and Conor is that the UFC didn't strip Conor immediately. Here, the UFC did strip Ilia as he moved up and let the division move on. So to me, this is a fictitious thing. Whether it's simultaneous or consecutive is irrelevant. Ilia is a tried and true double champ. What's your opinion?
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. You know why? Because Ilia has his 145-pound belt sitting at home. So
exactly.
It's not like he gave it back. He has it.
Exactly.
When you go to Randy Couture's house, you walk in and there's 5 UFC World Championship belts on his dresser. Like, as soon as you walk in, you go up the stairs, and there they are right there. He's a 5-time world champion, and Ilia is a 2-time champ in the UFC.
And Clown Show Exposed says, and I said this before, maybe not on the show, but I've thought this. Same thing as Alex Pereira. I agree. So what that he lost it? But the timing is irrelevant. Actually, in a lot of ways, that's more impressive. He lost it and moved up and had the wherewithal to win a #1 contender fight and then go on and fight for the belt. double champ. I do not care. The simultaneous thing is stupid, in my opinion, and completely arbitrary and based on whether or not the UFC, what they decide to do. So there we go. Hey, everybody's agreeing with me. Thank you. I'm so happy because that really bothers me. All right, we got to move on, man. This whole card the main card was mind-blowing, unbelievable. Pantoja is a legend. Now, don't get mad at me yet. I'm not taking away from Pantoja, but we have to ask the question, where is Muhammad Mokaev, honestly? But let's first talk about Pantoja. Justin, I know you're not the biggest fan of the flyweight division.
I watched this fight, though.
Tell me, what are your thoughts on Pantoja?
Loved it. What a fucking animal. What a great fight from Kai Kara-France, too. Like, every time I thought he was going to be down and out, I mean, I thought I saw him breaking. Next thing you know, he's just rushing forward, big combos and trying to fight. Like, I tell you what, I'm not a huge fan of the featherweight division. I don't know why.
Flyweight.
I mean, excuse me, the flyweight division. I'm not going to say, because they're smaller, because they don't knock people out, because Kai Kara-France does knock people out.
Yes.
I'm not really sure. I was a fan of the flyweight division when Henry Cejudo was in it because he was so cringy. I really like Brandon Moreno because I've trained with him a bunch. Juan Camilo, he just fought yesterday. UFC vet, good friend of mine. I mean, there are guys I like in the flyweight division, but overall, as a division, it's hard to get them around. But after watching Pantoja versus Kai Kara-France, man, now I'm gonna start paying attention when I see Pantoja on the card. I can't think of another time I've really sat down to think, when have I seen him fight? Because maybe I've seen snippets, but to watch him from start to finish, I mean, Demetrius Johnson always had me attracted to the division, but Pantoja can win me back to the flyweight division.
Well,
so France.
He's got Pantoja is on a 4-fight title defense streak. So whenever you see somebody achieve these levels of title defenses and streaks, and they do the unthinkable, of course, it's got to draw your attention, and that's what it is. Unfortunately for Pantoja, he just doesn't have that personality that draws us in, and it's a bit vanilla. Not to say he's an awesome guy, you can tell, but that's what he's up against. But when you keep winning and do the unthinkable, it's going to draw people in. Now, I want to ask you about this because, and we're going to get to Joshua Van in a second. The reason why I asked where's Mokaev is because UFC is the best fighting the best. And that's what I want to see. And as much as I want to see Joshua Van go in at 23 with 5 years of experience only and go in and take his title shot, which he's truly earned, I worry that with 5 years of training, as amazing as he is on the striking front, you've said this time and again, wrestling, grappling, that usually requires lifetime training to get really, really good. Now, of course, Joshua Van could be a total freak of nature and a phenom at the grappling, at the ground game, which we really didn't barely see at all. That could be the case, and he could be an amazing matchup for Pantoja. But I'm worried about that, and I'm nervous that we want to see Pantoja keep winning anyway, so it'll be cool either way, however it goes. But the guy that's not in the UFC, who I think could be a true threat to Pantoja, is Muhammad Mokaev. And it just bums me out because we want to believe that the UFC is the best fighting the best. And this just seems like it's not, because Mokaev is just such a legend and he's working actively on his striking to become a super well-rounded fighter. And he's young. Justin, yes. Do you have any thoughts on this? Do you think, number one, that we need Mokaev back immediately? And number two, how do you think Mokaev versus Pantoja would go?
I mean, it's a style conflict, man. Mokaev, I think he's doing well in Brave right now. If he's getting paid, why come over? But Dana White likes to big dick guys. He wants to show that, hey, look, we don't need you in our organization. I mean, he's done it with Francis Ngannou, who's a lot more valuable than Mokaev. And, if there's something that Mokaev did that he doesn't like, that they're, not disclosing, he's going to keep him out of the UFC. I think it'd be a great matchup. There's no doubt. I believe Mokaev's undefeated still.
Yes.
I know he's commented on your videos. I know, so you're a big fan of him.
I was a fan before.
Well, yeah, you were. That's true. But it's really cool that you commented on your videos.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he must be a good guy. But for Dana to cut somebody like that, he must have done something a little, or maybe a whole bunch of small things, and it's like, you know what? There's plenty of other guys out there that want this opportunity. They're going to do it better.
Well, I hope that Mokaev can get back into the good graces, because I think he's trying. I think he said many times, like, he loves the UFC. He wants to come back. He wants to fight in the UFC. And I think I would hope he gets another shot. I don't know the whole backstory, and I don't think maybe any of us really do, but I just can't believe it's so egregious compared to all the things that we've seen happen to other fighters, especially as of late with John Jones and Conor McGregor, that it warrants him just getting kicked out and excommunicated essentially for forever. So anyways, I just want to throw that out there. But the fight was great. I think Pantoja, as much as you're saying Kai Kara-France impressed you as well by getting back to his feet and whatnot, I think it was pretty dominant. And I think it showed the fact that because Kai Kara-France was so outmatched on the ground, that Pantoja really had his way with him, but massive congrats to Pantoja. And I'm with you, like, sad. It just wasn't the fight that I was most excited about. I'm just being honest. There's multiple fights on the main. You call me a casual if you will, if you want, but I'm just being honest. That's just how I felt about it. But the way it ended, and now when you think about the legacy that he's building, it truly was impressive. And I am, like you, looking forward to seeing Pantoja fight again. We got a couple comments here. Joshua Delivery Driver. I think you've been on our channel before, but I can't remember. Islam beat Moicano and Poirier. Explain how that's clearing a division. Oh, you don't think Islam cleared the division? Okay, well, I actually disagree. I mean, the only guy he didn't beat was Arman Sarukian, but it's because he missed weight. So that I don't think that was his fault, and he essentially cleared it out. But I think Islam is going out and chasing a leg. Look, this whole talk of Islam running, of Topuria, somebody said Topuria ran, who is it? Where is the comment? Somebody said Topuria run from Mavzar Evloev, right? It's just too much, man. Like, these guys are out there pursuing their independent individual goals. They want to be double champs. There's always going to be somebody amazing. We got to stop with the running away. We know what Islam wanted. He said it. He just doesn't want to keep fighting people moving up because he's not getting the proper credit. People are not blown away by the fact that he beat Volkanovski twice, and we should be blown away. You know what I mean? But, like, we're not. And that's why he wants to go up and chase something. Also, he wants to chase something that Khabib never did, I think. And that's his quest. And same with Ilia. Ilia wanted to move up. The weight cut was tough for him. So it was not running. Let's be honest here, guys. We have to have a little bit of a reality check when we talk about these fighters and what they're going for. Mr. Chucky G says, question for the panel. Who is a tougher fight for Islam, JDM or Topuria? Look, you might disagree with me. And people are going to get mad when I say this. As amazing as Ilia Topuria is, as incredible as he is, I think JDM's a tougher fight. Justin, what do you think?
100%. Size, technique, power, strength. I mean, yeah, it's another animal. We have a 45er, a big 45er coming up. He looks average size at lightweight. I mean, he's going to be a small welterweight, and JDM is to me, in my opinion, very, very big, very, very strong. And look what he just did to Bilal Muhammad. Like, are you kidding me? Mr. Chuck E. Cheese, I firmly believe that JDM would be a much tougher opponent. And because of his size, I think he'd be able to wear those punches better.
JDM looked massive against Bilal. So, I mean, yeah, I absolutely think that's the case. Takes nothing away from Ilia Topuria, by the way. This is just a compliment to JDM, but that's my opinion. Justin backs me up. Let's go. Let's see. Dana seems done with that. Are you talking about Mokaev? Let's hope not. Let's hope not. Oh, UFC therapy. We got to. Oh, sorry. UFC therapy is new, I believe, to the show. Welcome, welcome. I agree with the super comment. There's a super comment. Islam did not. Wait, what? Did we get a donation? Hold on. I can't see. I don't see one. Anyways, I agree with the super comment. Islam did not dominate. He nearly lost to. I don't know what that name is, and won the title fight to Bobby Green. Who's a juice run? I don't know who that is. But yeah, I'm not sure which comment you're agreeing with. MMA Joe, let's see. Muffball says Ilia is just small against Islam, who is huge for his weight. Bilal, okay, also new. Charles almost chinned Ilia. Canelo hands would piece.
No, Bilal is buddy with Poker 363.
Oh, see, okay. I did not know that. Well, where's that Poker 363 guy? That guy was crazy. Okay, MMA Joey fan. Now, here's the difference between Bilal and Islam. One is a finisher. That's true. I agree. That is very true. And last but not least, Bilal walks around it too. Who is this guy?
Okay, guys. Buddy.
These okay. So, anyways, let's move
on, dude. We got seven things to talk about.
Yeah, okay. We got to keep moving. What we got? All right. Number 3, Joshua Van dominates with only 5 years of training. Justin, let me turn it over to you. With only,
I didn't see it.
Oh, you didn't see it? Okay. So I saw this fight. It was the craziest fight. It had the entire crowd going wild the entire time. It was a stand-up brawl, just a striking clinic from both guys. And it was weird because I felt like Roy Val had the range advantage, but he just wasn't using it. They just kept getting into a boxing fight. And as soon as they got close, Joshua Van, much shorter, much less range, was just so much quicker and so much more skilled with his boxing. I want to ask you this. Let's talk about this, regardless of the fight and the outcome and how incredible it was. My concern with Joshua Van is he's 23, which is amazing, but he's only been training for 5 years. Justin, is it even possible with only 5 years of training to go out there and beat somebody like Pantoja. And I know there's so many different things that can happen based on somebody's genetics, their work ethic and whatnot. But like, that's what makes me worried about him fighting Pantoja, is I just think Pantoja's experience and training is gonna be too dominant. What is your take on that?
I mean, when you're talking about MMA, anything can happen, man. It's just like when they say any given Sunday about, professional football, like he go out there and he could knock him out. I mean, well, we have to talk from a percentage standpoint. I mean, 5 years of training. Here's the thing: why rush him into that position? Why don't we develop this guy a little more? Give him a couple, 2 more fights, a little lesser fights. Let him develop his skills, because 5 years is not a lot, man. It took me. I started training MMA when I started grappling, training MMA, and doing everything when I was 17 years old, and I didn't get to the UFC till I was 30. It's 13 years. And I'm not, and I'm a slightly, I think of myself as a slightly above average athlete. I'm not a super athlete by any means. Maybe I'm slightly above. I pick up things maybe a little bit faster when it comes to martial arts than the normal person. But this guy seems to be a super athlete. Give him 2 more years of training, maybe 3 more years of training, but even 2 years if he's that good, and build this guy up. Let him try to get to your ceiling. When I got to the UFC, I was the best. I was probably near to being the best I'd ever been. Very close, maybe a little lesser, maybe not, but I was at my ceiling almost, or like I said, maybe slightly lesser. This guy's not at his ceiling. He's still getting better every single fight. It's just like when I see Khalil Roundtree fight. It's like every time he fights, he's getting better. And I really feel with someone this much lack of experience can really develop in a short amount of time.
Bilal OK says, "Jeez, this guy is crazy." Lay some flowers down for Royval and Charles. I mean, look, Royval actually fought. I thought he fought pretty well. It was just Joshua Van was better, and then Joshua Van almost finished him at the end. Dude, the crowd was going mental in the last 10 seconds of the 3rd round. It was absolutely insane. Hamzat Borshimayev says Hamzat is in the United States. He just tweeted he's here. Yay! Amazing. Welcome to the U.S. Okay, guys, we got to keep it moving. We got a million things still to talk about. Moving on, number 4, Dariush is back. When I was on the show on Friday with John Morgan, I picked Beneil Dariush to win, and he came out, and I think he kind of dominated personally. Justin, what's your take on Dariush's win, and what do you think this means for him going forward?
I mean, I'm a huge Dariush fan. As you know, that I was commentating the Fusion Fight League when this fight was going on, so I've only got to watch the highlights of it. But man, dude, I was so happy for him, dude. This guy's one of the nicest guys you can ever meet. I developed a small relalamp with him when I was in the PI. We did our therapy together. So it was, dude, the guy's so nice and so humble. And, for who am I? I'm nobody. I'm 1-4 in the UFC. Every time he saw me, he'd go out of his way. Hey, man, how's your son doing? Hey, how's this going? And just such a great, great guy, man. And, to be where he's at in his career and still come out and put a performance on like that and beat Money Moicano. I always talk about UFC narrative. I think it was more beneficial for Moicano to win, because again, now Islam beat Moicano. Well, so did Dariush. So that, takes a little bit off that win. I think it was better for the UFC if Moicano won, but for Dariush to come out and do his thing, and he looked like the old school Dariush that we used to see back in the day. And I just hope that he can keep it together, man. I hope it's not the Toby Keith. I did, I'm good once as I ever was, or I'm not as good as I once was kind of thing. Yeah. But I really hope he can keep performing, keep winning fights.
How exciting right now is lightweight. Now, I just think, to me, Dariush coming back and winning because he is such a nice guy, and I really like him. I know maybe Moicano has a bigger fan base. I don't know. But to me, the fact that Dariush came back, he's still in the mix, because I think he was going to retire. He alluded to that. He was going to retire if he lost. So he's still in the mix. He's back in the game. We got maybe Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett. Is this real? Is this not? I don't know. And then Topuria at the top. And oh my God, it's the lightweight division to me is on fire. So congratulations to Beneil Dariush. Sorry we can't spend more time on this fight, but we got more to talk about with my boy Peyton Talbott. Peyton Talbott, dude, I'm such a fan of his. And I told John Morgan I thought he was going to beat Felipe Lima. He disagreed. He said that this was such a tough fight. And the beauty of this fight is that it was a very tough fight. And man, Felipe Lima made him work for it. Felipe Lima was like 14-1 coming into the fight or something insane. He kept trying to take him down over and over. But Peyton Talbott, to his credit, worked on his game. He said that he needs to be a more well-rounded fighter. He said that at the presser. A reporter straight up was talking about him being the fraud check thing over and over. I couldn't even believe he asked that question. And what did Peyton Talbott do? He put in the work. He came back, and he showed that he can evolve in real time from one fight to the next. How incredible How much has Peyton Talbott impressed you with this amazing, dominant victory, 30-27 on one judge's scorecard? What's your opinion on Peyton Talbott?
Yeah, he was an underdog going into this fight too, man. You know, I thought after his last performance that the UFC might not be too hype on this guy, but he's made incredible improvements, you know, just like you're saying, and he's doing all the right things. And this is another guy that has a tall ceiling that, you know, I think with a couple more years experience can really do something in the division.
Oh my God, it's so much fun, dude. Everything is going crazy. Then we also have Wellmaker, who's just blowing up on the scene right now in the bantamweight division. Some people were saying, hey, we need to put Peyton Talbott versus Wellmaker next. Like, nah, man, those are two massive stars on the rise. Way, way, way too soon to put them against each other. But I think, again, Peyton Talbott, to me, people aren't talking about it because the victory of Ilia was too big. It's blowing open to all the casuals and to people who may not even know about the UFC. So the problem is that's going to steal all the thunder. But to me, what Peyton Talbott did, because he had such a tough, like, they didn't give him an easy turnaround fight. Was that pre-designed? I don't know. But they gave him a really hard fight. He showed up and showed out. So he is on a rocket ship now as well. And I cannot wait to see him make his return. We got another story that we need to cover. And Justin needs to take a victory lap here. Before we do that, we're going to show a couple of quick comments right here. Somebody says Roundtree is the man, 100% behind him. Let's go. Yeah, go, dude. Khalil Roundtree is the man. And we both predicted that one. Okay, Matthew says third round was really bad. You're talking about for, wait, what do you mean? Are you saying for, what's it called? For Peyton Talbot? Because I thought, I mean, he still won that round in one of the judges' scorecards. I thought he did great. Peyton Talbot should fight Cody Garbrandt. Yo, I would be down for that. I don't know if Justin may not like that fight because I think you're a fan of Cody, right?
3-7 in his last 10. Don't serve him up, man. Come on, give him an old guy that he can beat Cody.
Bilal with the crazy comments. This guy is so, like, look, Talbot should hang out with Jones for some extra aura to be able to sell himself better. Maybe pick up a few. Jesus Christ. Okay. And then Tehran says Peyton Talbot, Cody Garbrandt, book it for you. I like it. I like it personally, but okay, we need to get to Justin's victory lap, guys. Dana White has confirmed something that Justin said all the way back in January. Now, we're going to show a couple of clips, guys.
Made a video about it.
Oh, don't worry. I got it all queued up. We're going to take our victory lap right now. So first and foremost, Dana White at the presser said something very interesting about Arman Tsarukyan, who for the longest time, despite Justin's video and his take, and that video actually did pretty well, he's been going around saying that he had to pull out of the fight because of a back injury. Well, listen to what Dana White has to say about that.
Thank you.
Dana.
Yeah.
With Arman Tsarukyan weighing in as the backup, is he getting back in the good graces with you and the?
Well, it's not about getting back in the good graces. It's about, you know, the guy had the opportunity to fight for a title and didn't make weight. It's just, I mean, you couldn't fuck up anything worse than that. But he proved, you know, now that he's not fighting for the title and he was here as a backup fighter, he made weight. So it's definitely a step in the right direction.
Not saying that that's the next fight for sure, but it's a step in the right direction. This is very interesting. I don't know what's going to happen. I think it's probably what you said probably makes sense. It's probably going to be Ilia versus Arman. I don't know, though. They might make Arman fight somebody else. But anyways, I digress. Let's get to Justin's victory lap here, guys. So if you guys remember, maybe you do, maybe you don't. But hey, let's put some respect on Justin Jane's name, as he was one of the first people to call this out. Check it out, just so you guys, a little stroll down memory lane.
I'm here to tell you guys what I think happened with Arman Tsarukyan. Guys, his title fight with Islam Mokaev this past weekend was supposed to go down. But as most of you know, the day before the fight, Tsarukyan pulls out due to a back injury. All right, I hear the events leading up to this. Wednesday, he was on the bike and he hurt his back somehow. He went to sleep. He woke up. He felt better. Started cutting weight again. It started to flare up, and which led to him pulling out of his title fight. Guys, I don't believe it. I'm not saying I'm 100%, but I'm going to tell you all the reasons why I don't believe it. He's had trouble making weight before.
Okay, we're not going to go through the whole video, but that's the gist of it. He called it out, and then he laid out all the reasons. You guys check out this video here. Let me put it in the chat. So if you guys didn't see it, you guys can watch it now. But he said it back in, let's see, what was the date on this video? It was 5 months ago. So Put some respect on Justin Jane's name. He called it
Hey,
out. Now
5,000 views too. Let's go.
yeah, we need more. We need 6,000, 7,000, 10,000, 100,000. Shout it out from the rooftops, people. He called it, and Dana White just confirmed it 5.5 months later. So there we go. That's the victory lap. That's what I wanted to show. Okay, last thing. Yeah.
So not to interrupt you, but I just read while I was on my phone before I was looking at the record, but then I just saw your message you sent me. What an asshole, dude! Like, get out of here! Like,
oh
share.
Share. Okay,
like,
hold on. Let me see if I can find it on the. Let me pull up the video. So I don't wonder if this. I don't think this guy's on the live stream right now, but I made a video about it. Okay, so first of all, let me explain something about Tuff N Uff. So Tuff N Uff is a promotion.
And the backstory that you were there, and obviously I was commentating.
100%. So Tuff N Uff is the #1 feeder MMA organization to the UFC. It's actually amazing. They put on such a good show. You guys, if you're in Vegas, you got to go, because like we were standing room only and everything was sold out. And so we were probably like the farthest away you could be from the cage. And we had the best view of the cage. It was amazing. Could see right through and see the fighters up close. So here, let's show this comment. So I was there at the event because I went to the UFC fight on Saturday. Then Sunday we went to Tuff N Uff, and Justin's one of the commentators for Tuff N Uff. So he's actually on the video, like talking about this in real time as it's happening. But look at where is the comment? Hold on. How do I find it? It's down here. Somebody said, yo, yeah, look at this. I'll give it a like, dog. You deserve a like that young. He said someone in another video comment said, oh, no, not that young. That young's a legend. He made a funny comment. Where's the one?
At the bottom, I just saw.
Oh, yeah. What a here. Oh, I think he may have responded. What a shocker. A low-level content creator, I guess he's talking about us, for YouTube lying about an event. How did I lie? Don't call me a liar, dog. That's BS. I didn't lie about anything. The guy was trash talking. Yeah, I said that. They were trash talking each other. You weren't there, dog.
Sean was trash talking him at the weigh-ins too.
What's that? Sean was trash talking him at the weigh-ins?
Or either at the weigh-ins or in the back, calling him a fat piece of shit.
So, dude, learn. I mean, how do I even respond to this guy? Because
I already responded to him.
He's a moron. But anyways, he says, and then which led to the fight. If you trash talk a UFC fighter, you're going to get into a fight. That's also
not true.
That's not true statement to say. And then I go, I'm lying. You're a moron. I was there. I'll take low-level content creator over being Ayatollah Frockenrolla. What is that name? That's the dumbest moronic name I've ever heard of. Anyways, so let's back it up and let's talk about this entire thing. So we're there at the fight, and then I guess they've been trash talking back and forth. And this guy Luis Hernandez actually is a legend. He goes in and he goes like, bah, like this motion, and then he does the jerk off motion to Sean and Chris Curtis, and they bum rush the cage, and Sean tries to clock him with a 2. It was crazy, and it kind of connected, but not really. Luis Hernandez, to his credit, was just laughing the whole time. Chris Curtis then tells him, he's like, dude, watch your mouth. Like, but Chris didn't hit him. Actually, I think Chris was trying to block him. He was trying to protect him from getting hit from Sean. I mean, Chris Curtis is a legend. You know, what can we say? He's just awesome. And I think Sean just, Sean has, I'm sure, anger issues and whatnot. Or, I mean, well, hold on. Let me not say that. I don't know him. And I don't want to put you, so we'll erase what I just said. I don't know what was going on, but he lost his temper in the moment. Let me put it that way. And so he stormed the cage, and whatever ensued. And then the guy on the mic afterwards goes, because Sean Shelby was in the audience, goes, yo, Dana White, Sean Shelby, I'm on a 6-fight win streak. I'm fighting at whatever it was, welterweight or middle.
He fought it at middleweight, but he is a welterweight.
He's like, yo, I fight at middleweight, and Sean Strickland couldn't knock me out. So give me my shot in the UFC. I was like, yo, this is legendary. I made a video on it. That's the one that I just showed you guys. And it's actually growing right now in views. So check it out if you guys want to see it. But Luis Hernandez, Justin, what's your takeaway? Forget about Sean and Chris. What's your takeaway about Luis Hernandez?
Oh, he's going to show, man. 6-0, 5 first-round finishes. Woo. Just beat Miles Hunsinger, who was on the Ultimate Fighter. Finishes him in the second round. 6-0, 6 finishes at middleweight, and he's a welterweight. Give this guy a shot.
Man, and then like he thought on his feet, like he's not afraid to talk a little trash. And look, I said in the video, a lot of times I think some of us fans like we do, and I like this. I like both, man. I like it when fighters show respect, but I like it when the trash talk is intelligent and it's real and it stems from a beef that people literally want to go in and settle in the octagon. Like that is exciting to me as well. So say what you will about the trash talk that was going on back and forth. Was it disrespectful? Did it cross the line? I don't know. But if you're saying Sean and the whole team was kind of antagonizing him and he got the victory and he did what he did, and he got in a guillotine, by the way. how rare is that nowadays? I feel like, right? A standing guillotine. So
and Miles is tough, man. Miles is my teammate, and so this guy's a tough guy. You can hear me on the broadcast talk about it. Sorry, I fucking did it again, man.
No, do it. You're good. Trust me, you're good.
So like, he gets in the guillotine, and in his head, he knew he had it because he looks over at Sean and starts sticking toe. Now, give the backdrop of this. Sean at the weigh-ins was calling him fat, saying that he sucks. He's a fat effer and this and that. So then when he finally knew that he had that submission, he looks over, Sean sticks type of man, like tells him to suck. Like, what a genius. What a genius. If he does that to anybody else in the crowd, he doesn't get that reaction. Now he has a viral video. He got to call out Sean Shelby. And Sean's not going to get hit with an assault charge because the guy should be thanking him all the way to the bank.
Yes,
You're right. Everything was perfect. He played the perfect storm. And, it's funny because all three guys that ran into the cage are buddies. I mean, three guys ran into the cage, not just Chris and Sean. There's Gio Salazar behind him as well. And we're making a joke in the gym today because, like, Chris goes in there like he's going to do something. We know Chris ain't going to do shit. Like, he's just in there to be intimidating. Sean, we know, is going to do something. And then Gio's in there, and he's looking like what to do. So we're like, you got Chris, good cop, Sean, bad cop, and Gio Salazar, retarded cop, because he's just looking around like he doesn't know what to do in this situation. Like, he's in the cage to help his guys out, but he doesn't know what to do. And it was just to watch because they're friends of mine, guys. These aren't like guys that I know. These are personal friends of mine. So see them act like this and know how Chris is, because he's been on the show before with us, and he's just the nicest guy ever. When I saw Chris walking towards him, I was like, Chris, you ain't going to do shit. And then he shields him. He clinches him to protect him from getting hit from Sean. That's the kind of guy Chris Curtis is. And if anybody says Chris is a bad guy, like they don't know what they're talking about. Chris is one of the nicest guys. And Sean's like that drunk uncle at a picnic that he's like, I try to do my imitation of Sean. When he does it, he goes,
yeah, that's what it looked like.
He stretches his arms out and he'll do this.
Yeah.
And boom. And it's like, we're laughing. It's like, he's that drunk uncle at the barbecue that's always starting to fight with somebody.
Dude, somebody else in the comments said he looks like a disappointed, angry father, like marching towards.
That's what I'm saying. You're exactly right. And I've seen him have that look before in the gym.
Okay, so, what was I just gonna say about? The funny thing is, because again, I was in the audience, and Sean Strickland came in through the audience when he came in to corner his guy. Right before that, there was like a ton of Marines and stuff in the audience. And Sean was like in such a good mood. He was like taking pictures with the Marines. I heard it because they were all right next to us. So he's like, man, you guys are the real heroes. You guys have the toughest job, way tougher than my blah. So he was like all happy and good. And then he went in there. It was so crazy to see. And my girlfriend was next to him. I'm like, yo, that's Sean Strickland right there. He's a former champ, whatever. And then right after that, he goes in and then has this crazy brawl. It was just, the whole thing was insane. Let me end on this because we're nearing the end of the show. And I just want to say, from my perspective, I made a video talking about the weekend. It was actually before I went to Tuff N Uff. But let me say this. This weekend, for me, from a fan's perspective, was the craziest, wildest weekend that you could have as an MMA fan. So let me start you guys off. So 10 in the morning, I get to Extreme Couture, arguably the best MMA gym in the world, or one of the best. Let's put it like that. And we do a private session with a bare knuckle fighter named Jordan Christensen. So he does a one-on-one or one-on-two, I should say.
How many times you call him Jordan?
I didn't. They told me at the front, if you call him Jordan, he'll get mad. So I said Jordan because he's got clubs.
He doesn't get mad. He just says that. He doesn't get mad.
He's got clubs for fists. No, so we went in. We had a private with him, and then I even sparred with me and my girlfriend sparred each other. She's boxed for like 20 years. That was cool. But who was in the cage with us when we were training the whole time? Eric Nixick and Daniel Zellhuber, which was insane. So I was like telling Nicole, because she doesn't realize, I'm like, yo, that's Eric Nixick. Like, he coaches all these, famous fighters like Francis Ngannou, Sean Strickland, whatnot. Then after that, we leave, we go back, we're chilling. And then I randomly decide to buy tickets, floor seats to 317. That ends up being probably for sure the best fight thus far of the year, but probably is going to be the best card of the year. Oh, no, 319 might beat it, but up until 319 is going to be the best. We saw this insane show. Then we come back, we hang out, we go wake up the next morning. Then we go to Tuff N Uff. We see great fights. And then we see this crazy thing. So the entire weekend, top to bottom in Vegas, was a spectacular. Well, you can't beat it. As a MMA fan, to get to train alongside and while I was at Extreme Couture, I said what's up to Chris Curtis. I don't know if you remembered me. I felt kind of bad afterwards that I even said hi to him. But then and then Sean Strickland was in there. We saw Zellhuber in there, who had the banger fight of last year at Noche. So all in all, it's incredible. Thank you, Vegas. Thank you, UFC. Thank you, Extreme Couture. Thank you, Justin, for setting up that private.
I wasn't even there.
And
That's the
Justin
worst
wasn't
part.
even
I
there.
wasn't even there.
He
I was in
missed it.
Montana.
And then he flew in Sunday morning to do the commentating for Tuff N Uff. But anyways, guys, that's it. Thank you so much for an epic show. We had a bunch of people on the stream today. I know it's kind of dwindling now as people are starting to sign off as we're winding down the show. If you're still on, if you could give us a like, we'd really appreciate it. All the engagement helps us go a really long way, and it's really important. Oh, by the way, we also have the membership set up now, so we're going to start posting videos there. And you can learn how to fight and train with Justin Guitar Hero James. In my opinion, one of the best trainers in the game in mixed martial arts. So you can learn from him. I've trained with him multiple times, obviously, but you guys can train with him as well, just via the membership. And I think we got a good price for you guys. So make sure to check that out. But anyways, as we close out the show, I just want to say thank you so much. Anybody saying the UFC is in a slump, get your stuff together. It is not in a slump. It is back and better than ever. Ilia Topuria on the rise, Khamzat Chimaev on the rise, Islam Makhachev on the rise to welterweight double champ. Let's go. We'll see you at the top, ladies and gentlemen. Buy some TKO stock as that streaming deal is about to go into effect. Thank you guys so much for joining, and we'll see you in the next video. Take it easy.